The movie starts and we see an Agori extracting a soul from a dead body. In another scene, a priest is seen removing a soul from a little child's body. Later, it is revealed that this is actually a TV show, hosted by a woman named Medha. Speaking of Medha, she has already gained a lot of attention for dealing with paranormal cases, and she also has a young daughter. Currently, Medha lives with her daughter while working for the same TV channel. One morning, a fisherman casts his net into the water, expecting to catch fish, but instead, he finds a human skull. Gradually, this news spreads on social media. The police arrive, followed by some forensic experts, and before long, it becomes a nationwide sensation. This situation starts to affect the area, and to solve the case, the authorities assign the investigation to a man named Satyajit. Meanwhile, Medha visits a house located a little outside the city. She considers renting it, and the house owner tells her that it has been in his family for generations. He shows her old photographs of his ancestors and some antique furniture, explaining that he doesn't want to leave the house empty. Medha likes the house a lot. On the other hand, Satyajit examines the skull and calls his forensic team to investigate. A doctor informs him that the skull belongs to a female aged between 25 and 30 and that she died about a year ago. According to the forensic report, she likely passed away in September 2012. Satyajit then instructs his team to gather a list of all women who have been reported missing in the area, especially those whose disappearances remain unsolved. Meanwhile, Medha moves into the new house with her daughter and a housemaid. Her daughter also loves the house. Medha occasionally interacts with a lawyer named Harita. One day, during their conversation, Harita asks Medha about her sister, who had studied psychology. She wonders why Medha's sister took such a drastic step. Medha explains that her sister was deeply interested in studying spirits, which is why she pursued parapsychology. However, one day, something changed, and she committed suicide. The reason behind her death remains a mystery. Back to the investigation, Satyajit orders 200 reports for further examination. His team narrows the focus to just one case, case number 3071. He then sends the skull for facial reconstruction. Meanwhile, Medha starts experiencing strange occurrences in her house. She finds hair in the wash basin, and senses someone's presence behind her. One night, as Medha and her daughter are sleeping, water suddenly starts dripping in their bedroom. When Medha opens the bedroom door to check, she finds her maid standing outside, looking terrified. The maid tells her that she heard someone crying in the kitchen and got scared. On the other side, the forensic expert working on the 3D facial reconstruction calls Satyajit and informs him that the reconstructed face doesn't match any of the people in case number 3071. This means the deceased woman isn't from that list. They need to take a different approach. Satyajit considers the possibility that no missing report was ever filed for this woman. She could be from another state, where her case might have been reported. As he is pondering this, his uncle, a man who drinks heavily and has no one else in the world, arrives to ask for money as usual. Satyajit gives him some cash, but then a thought strikes him: what if the deceased woman was an orphan? If she had no family, then no missing report would have been filed for her. Meanwhile, Satyajit's superior calls a meeting with all the police officers to review the case. During the meeting, Satyajit explains that when they found the skull, only one tooth remained. This could mean the skull was heavily manipulated, possibly artificially preserved. He believes that if they investigate further, they will surely find some clue. After hearing this, his team also agrees with Satya's idea. Then, Satya goes to meet a dentist named Dr. Yadav. There, he learns that everything follows a pattern. Satya gathers records of people who had used this dental pattern and finds out how many such cases exist. After obtaining this information, he returns to his team and instructs them to call each person on the list. He tells them that the person who does not answer their call is the one they need to investigate. Meanwhile, strange incidents continue happening in Medha's house. Seeing all these occurrences, she starts to suspect that something is definitely wrong. To find out more, she seeks help from her friend, who takes her to a paranormal expert named Zara. Zara is a blind woman. Medha tells Zara about all the strange events happening in her house. That night, at exactly 3 a.m., Zara and her assistant visit Medha's home. On the other hand, Satya returns home from a party when a police officer messages him, saying that during their investigation, one person did not respond to their calls. The officer emails the details to Satya and asks him to check them. Satya immediately opens his mailbox. Meanwhile, Zara arrives at Medha's house and tells her that she smells fresh blood. She lights some candles and starts chanting mantras. After some time, she tells Medha that a spirit named Evan Arya resides in the house. At the same time, Satya discovers the same name in his records. The deceased was named Evan Arya, a 29-year-old woman. Strange things continue to happen to Medha. She even starts experiencing hallucinations. Realizing that these incidents are affecting her, she decides to leave the house. The next morning, she calls the house owner and tells him she does not want to rent the place anymore and will move out soon. Meanwhile, the police find Evan Arya's Aadhaar card. They take the photo from the card to the 3D model expert, who confirms that the skull they found matches the face on the Aadhaar card. Satya and his colleague travel to Evan Arya's village, where they uncover several important details. A shopkeeper tells them about Evan's past. She was the daughter of a wealthy man named Jivan. However, when she was a child, her mother passed away. Later, her father remarried, but Evan's stepmother never liked her. Because of this, she was sent to a boarding school, where she completed her education. Years later, Evan married a North Indian man. Before her death, she had transferred all her property to her daughter's name. However, just a year after Evan's passing, all her properties were sold. Surprisingly, no one from her family ever came to claim them. To investigate further, Satya and his colleague visit Evan's stepmother's house. When they arrive, they see a man chopping up pieces of meat. Satya questions the woman about Evan, and she coldly responds, saying she is busy preparing for her daughter's wedding. After some conversation, Satya asks her about Evan's murder. She then reveals that before her husband died, he had transferred all his property to his son's name, leaving her and Evan with nothing. Meanwhile, Medha meets Zara again. Zara tells her that she was unable to communicate with the spirit that night, but there is definitely some connection between the house's structure and the spirit's presence. She assures Medha that the spirit will not harm her but instead wants to reveal something, perhaps the truth behind her death. Zara advises Medha to find out who Evan Arya was. Taking her advice, Medha returns home and calls the house owner. She asks him where he got the old furniture in the house. The owner replies that he bought it from a store. Medha immediately visits that shop and shows the owner a photo of the furniture, hoping to learn more about its origins. Looking at the photo, the shopkeeper tells Medha that he might have received the furniture in an exchange deal, but he doesn't remember clearly. That night, one of Satya's teammates brings Evan Arya's call records and hands them over to him. The official death record states that Evan died in 2019, but her phone records show that her number was still active until March 2019. Her last location was in Varanasi. If she really died in 2019, how was her phone still in use until 2030? Meanwhile, Medha searches through Facebook and finds a profile that looks like Evan's. She calls a woman named Hari, asking if she knows Evan. Hari checks the profile and vaguely remembers her. Around the same time, Satya uncovers more details about Evan and heads out to meet someone connected to her. Medha, at her office, calls Haritab Mishra and tells him that she found information on Evan Arya. She recalls that Evan had separated from her husband in 2019 and had even participated in Big Boss. Her ex-husband, Darshan Dev, works in the same company as Haritab. Learning this, Medha decides to track down Darshan. But when she arrives at his office, she finds Satya already there. Satya asks Darshan about Evan, but Darshan tells him to come to his house the next day to discuss things in detail. Later, Medha asks a colleague about Darshan's wife. The colleague tells her that Darshan's wife works in the same office and offers to introduce her the next day. The following day, Satya visits Darshan at his home. Darshan explains that he and Evan had a love marriage, but after a year, their relationship started to fall apart. Evan decided to move to Udaipur, where she had around 3 crore rupees. She used that money to start a business, but when things didn't work out, she asked Darshan to return the money she had given him. At that time, Darshan's father-in-law helped him repay Evan. After that, Evan disappeared. After the conversation, Darshan asks Satya what really happened to Evan. Satya reveals that she is dead. Darshan and his wife are left in shock. Meanwhile, a forensic doctor calls Satya, informing him that they have found a severed hand. The doctor believes it might be useful for their investigation. Satya requests a DNA test on the hand. After running tests, they confirm that the hand belongs to Evan. At the same time, Medha meets Hari in Haridwar. Hari recalls that Evan had applied for a divorce and, after the proceedings, had traveled across India to forget her past. Later, Medha visits Evan's old office to gather more information. A colleague tells her that the last time she contacted Evan was to invite her to her wedding, but Evan messaged saying she was in Varanasi and couldn't attend. Satya and his team visit a forensic lab in Chennai. The doctor there reveals that they found hair strands on the severed hand. After testing, they confirm that the strands are short hair, not long. The team now plans to conduct a DNA test to find out whose hair it is. If they can match the DNA, they might uncover the killer. Meanwhile, Medha's mother-in-law visits her house to meet her granddaughter. However, while in the house, she notices faint footsteps leading towards a room. Seeing this, she becomes unsettled and quickly leaves. Elsewhere, Satya and his team arrive at a moment hostel, where years ago, Evan had once stayed. When asked about him, the warden starts telling Satya that Evan didn't inform anyone about his departure, although his friend delivered his belongings. Also, a girl had come asking about Eve, just like him. Hearing this, Satyajit asks the warden to inform him if that girl visits again. This time, when Satyajit checks Yuva's Facebook profile, he finds photos from Varanasi. Below one of the photos, it is written that the first death in Varanasi occurred due to COVID-19. Satyajit gathers his team and informs them that, according to police records, the first death due to COVID-19 in Varanasi happened on April 1, 2020. This means Yuva was there at that time. He asks them to find out who traveled from Kerala to Varanasi during that period. Additionally, some COVID-19 witnesses were stuck in Varanasi, and the government arranged a white bus to bring them back to Kerala. He asks his team to check the list of passengers from that time. After some time, a few policemen provide Satya with the passenger list, which includes the name of Evan. Satya also finds his uncle's name on the list. Satya visits his uncle and shows him the photos, but his uncle doesn't recognize them. However, after looking at some other photos, he recalls seeing a young woman but insists that it wasn't Evan. He mentions that he saw this person in the city recently. This makes Satya suspect that someone is using Evan's name and roaming around. Later, Satya holds a team meeting where they discover that, according to the doctor, Evan died in September 2020. However, Yuva's Facebook account and call records show activity until April 2020. This leads Satya to suspect that either Evan never went to Varanasi, or someone impersonated her. If someone else went in her place, that person might be the killer. At that moment, the hostel warden calls Satyajit and informs him that the girl who visited her hostel earlier is now appearing on the news. This means that the girl in question is none other than Medha. After learning this, Satya and Medha discuss the situation. Satyajit's uncle calls Satyajit and talks to him about something. After the call, Satyajit comes to Medha and tells her that they have found out who Yuva's killer is. He then shows a photo on his phone to Medha, and seeing it, Medha is left in shock. The story then shifts to three key incidents. Yuva and Harita were very close friends, and she was the one who helped her get divorced with her husband, but it was Harita who betrayed her. When Evan was returning to her hostel with all her husband's money, Harita asked her where she would go. She insisted that Evan should stay at her house instead. This is how Evan ended up at Harita's place. Later, when Harita see the 3 crore from Evan, she strangled Evan to death. After killing her, Harita chopped her body into pieces and stored them in a fridge. Whenever she got a chance, she secretly disposed of different body parts in various places. After committing the murder, Harita pasted her own photo onto Evan Aadhaar card. With the help of a broker, she sold all of Evan property in Reva. Then, taking Evan's phone, she went to Varanasi, clicked some pictures, and uploaded them on social media to make it seem like Evan went missing after reaching Varanasi. After uncovering all of this, Medha asks Satyajit how he figured everything out. Satya explains that while they were talking, his uncle called him and mentioned seeing Evan outside the court wearing a coat. That's when he realized it had to be Harita in disguise. This confirmed his suspicion. Satya further states that if they can match the DNA of the remains found in the ocean with those discovered earlier, they can prove that Harita was the one who murdered Evan. Meanwhile, Harita had learned everything about Medha's house. This meant that Medha had unknowingly revealed all crucial details to the wrong person. Harita arrives at Medha's house looking for something. She finds the fridge, where she had stored the remains a year ago after cutting Evan's body into pieces. At this moment, Evan's spirit kills Anita. The next morning, the police, media, and others arrive at Medha's house. Satya begins explaining everything, how Evan died and all other details. In the end, it is confirmed that Evan's spirit was the one that took revenge on Harita.
Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.